Hi, and welcome to this moment. We're going to just read a little bit more together from Way of Qi Gong and drink some water. So I invite you to pause the video and go and grab a glass of water or some tea for yourself. And here we go. Welcome. I know we've all probably heard that as humans, we are made up of 70% water or some high percentage, some high percentage. And yeah, I'm in a season of just leaning into this practice and finding ways to share that moment with others. And yeah, here we go. More than halfway through. I'm not rushing. I'm taking my time and being comfortable with the silence right now. Being comfortable with the background sounds in my house. And almost there. Okay. Here we go. And I'm just going to pick up where we left off last time. And this is literally me in my pajamas. Just okay. So this next little paragraph is about Qigong categories. Qigong techniques are divided into two general categories: dynamic or active Qigong, which is also referred to as Donggong, and tranquil or passive Qigong, which is also referred to as Jing-gong, Jing. Dynamic Qigong includes obvious movement. The entire body moves from one posture to another, as though performing a dance, or a posture is held while the arms move through various positions. I like the reference to a dance. I feel like when I imagine Qigong, sometimes I imagine EDM or like techno in the background. Or classical music, I guess, depending on the vibe. Okay. Donggong is the most popular kind of Qigong in both China and the West. So that is, active Qigong is the most popular type of Qigong in China and in the West. It is yang, Y-A-N-G, meaning that it's active, and yet it conceals the yin, Y-I-N, which is the passive. Externally, there's movement, but internally the mind is quiet, peaceful, and at rest. I like thinking about this because something that I love about Qigong is that I get to move my body in ways that I normally don't on a normal day. Well, okay, now that I practice Qigong, I guess it is kind of normal. However, I get to move my body in a variety of different ways, and it helps to still my mind in a way that like I don't think my mind would still in the same way if I was just like lying down. So I find that for me personally, Qigong kind of prevents my monkey mind from like running amok in a different way to like just like still meditations. In tranquil Qigong, the entire body is still. The Qi is controlled by mental concentration, visualization, and precise methods of breathing. Jing Gong is externally yin, passive, but internally yang, active, Y-A-N-G. The body is still, yet the breath is moving. The mind is alert and actively paying attention to the Qi. So when I consider what Kenneth Cohen is saying in this book, in this moment, it reminds me of some of the Qigong meditations I've experienced that are just incredibly powerful. But when I look back, I'm like, oh, all I was doing was just lying down or like sitting and listening. And yet my mind is going through a journey that's super transformative. To put it simply, dynamic Qigong is exercise and tranquil Qigong is medication. Yet these categories are not rigid. Stillness and action are relative, not absolute principles. It is important to find a balance of yin and yang, not just in Qigong, but in everyday life. In movement, seek stillness and test. In rest, be mindful and attentive. I feel like reflecting on this kind of as I start to like wind down for my bedtime. I love reflecting on like yin and yang and reflecting on duality. Just remembering that like within this moment, there's so many possibilities and all of them are acceptable. I can be happy, but within that there can be a little bit of sadness, and that's okay. Or I can lean into a state of ease right now, and then later on lean into more active movement. So just the dynamic nature of us as beings is really important to embrace. It's something that I'm leaning on practicing more and embracing more. For example, I'll give some actual examples of what's going on in my life. When I'm creating my schedule, I'm very aware of when do I feel my best. And for example, I love going for like 45-minute to hour-long walks in the morning. And that's something active. And as soon as I walk into the house, I'm like, it's time to just pause for a moment. And so I take that time to take a Tai Chi class. And I find that kind of brings me back to center and balances my energy in a different way. So I love pairing those exercises in all those types of movement in an intentional way to honor those sides of me, the side of me that wants to move and get outside and explore, and the side of me that wants to be still and invite more of those yin type movements. Another way in which I'm reflecting on duality is relative to concepts of worthiness and unworthiness. And this came about when a friend created a meditation on worthiness and unworthiness. And I was like, this is not a topic that I really care about. This is not a topic that I need to reflect on. And then I paused and I said, what makes me uncomfortable? And I think it's the term unworthiness that was initially uncomfortable to even consider that. And what I found from doing that meditation was, in the meditation, I was invited to not just bask in the feeling of worthiness, which is something that we're invited to do often in different spiritual ways, depending on your own personal practice. And that's seen as like empowering and amazing. And in the meditation, there was a moment of like being invited to consider where I feel unworthy in my life. And to ask myself, is it possible for me to feel both unworthy and worthy at the same time? And I think that just opened up a different part of me to say, it's okay to feel both those things and the wide range that exists. So it's not just about feeling worthy or unworthy. There's a whole like spectrum that's right there that can be explored. And acknowledging all those sides is part of healing. It's part of authenticity. So so leaning into yin and yang, remembering duality, and working on making peace with it is just this lifelong practice that I'm on. So I wanted to share that reflection at this moment. Thank you for coming along on my water chat, and have an amazing evening. And depending on where you are, it might be morning, it might be afternoon. For me, it's evening, and sending you lots of greetings from Canada.